everybody trying to be content creators and trying to go
viral.
viral. You want to go viral?
Okay, you want to go viral. Let's go viral then.
Say less.
Let go.
Let's embrace it. Let's love it. Let's enjoy it. And let's give them the experience of their life. That's Roswell for you, baby. Come together. And guys, this is Speaking Out Loud. I appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to share and dance like you just don't care. It's early in the morning. Let's have a day. And like I said, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS. Yikes. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Speaking Out Loud. I am your host, Rene Ruiz. And today I am missing my right-hand man, the one with the tries, the one with the buys, the one with the broad chest. I'm missing my boy, Johnny Borba. But good luck to Johnny. He is on his way to go pitch a sell for his work, Trustmark Roofing. So if you need anything with your roofing needs or maybe your door or your window, Johnny B is the way to go. But today we got a hell of a slate. We got the NFL schedule, week numero 7. We closed the door on week 6 yesterday. But Jay, there's been a lot of stuff. Jay, the producer's along with me as well. There in the background. We got a couple games we're going to talk about tonight. We have the Pittsburgh versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Some people are referring to this as the Icy Hot Bowl. Some people meaning Mr. Cam Hayward. As Aaron Rodgers was having an interview on Tuesday, Cam Hayward interrupted it and threw out a little, this is the old man bow. Old man bow it is. Yesterday, me and JB talked about how Mike Tomlin kind of gave off a bit of scary energy. Cheech went ahead and sent a stat to us where it said Mike Tomlin is 0-8 on Thursday night against division rivals. And who are they going against? They are going against Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, a couple weeks ago, and when I mean a couple, I mean literally 2 weeks ago, it was almost impossible for Jamar Chase or T. Higgins to catch a ball or get a ball thrown their way. A lot of the blame could be on that offensive line. Jake Browning took some responsibility for his part in the lack of offense that the Cincinnati Bengals had. But they brought in Mr. Joe Flacco. Some of us were very critical of it, including myself. I think we've seen what Joe Flacco has to offer. And no offense to him, keep getting your bag, keep getting your money. But I mean, we've seen what he has to offer. And right now, he came in right away and changed up that offense just a little. You know, Jamar Chase, for fantasy owners, Jamar Chase went over 100 yards last week. I don't think that was expected at all, honestly. But Joe Flacco has shown us that maybe that Cincinnati Bengals defense can get better. I mean, we're looking at the Cincinnati Bengals right now, and they rank 29th in the league, only averaging 17 points per game on the offensive side of the ball. So you ask yourself, should I start Jamar Chase against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense? And honestly, I think you're going to start Jamar Chase no matter what, right? He's one of those players where you can't risk to sit him. So you're going to take the risk regardless, right? So I think even having a conversation about him sitting is kind of dumb. Kind of dumb. But when we look at this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, right now they're ranked number 12 in the league in passing efficiency. So Joe Flacco is going to be able to push the ball down the field, I think. But if Jamar Chase is being spotted by Jalen Ramsey, say what you want about Jalen Ramsey, maybe he's a little older, but he's still been a dog out there, and he's still got the capabilities of locking these boys down. I think a big game from T. Higgins today. That's who I would look at making a big push here. T. Higgins in fantasy. Give me T. Higgins. I like T. Higgins. Right now, the spread is set at 5.5 points. It don't seem like much, especially when you look at like college spreads, right? When we look at a college spread, you see like Alabama going against, I don't know, just someone, let's just pull them out of the blue, like someone like Minnesota, right? You would look at that point spread and you'd probably see like 25.5 points or something absurd, almost disrespectful. Then you look at the NFL and you go 5.5. Still kind of a lot of points. When it starts to get disrespectful in the NFL is whenever we start seeing spreads at about 10.5 points. 9.5. I think 9.5 is pretty disrespectful in my opinion. But 5.5, not too bad. I like it though. I think tonight we're looking at a Pittsburgh team who right now doesn't have the greatest running game in the world. And yesterday we touched on it just a little bit about how this running offense could use someone like an Alvin Kamara or a Brees Hall. I mean, they're averaging a little over 60 yards a game. I think when you have an older player like Aaron Rodgers, you're really going to rely on the running game, and you got to help him out. They didn't re-sign Najee Harris, which may have been a gift in disguise because he did go to the Chargers and ended up tearing his ACL. Tough luck. Speedy recovery to Najee, but Pittsburgh didn't necessarily fill that void. I know they got Warren there, and he's a solid back, but he could definitely use some help, especially with such a long season. You would like if your running back could split some carries. What's crazy is now we're looking at the league, and it seems like the having duo backs in the backfield is the way to go now. It seems like a lot of teams are taking that perspective on the offense to bring in two backs to be able to split the carries. I mean, you look at how effective the Detroit Lions have been with Montgomery and man, his name is just going straight through my head, and I shouldn't. Jamar Gibbs. I'm so sorry, Jamar Gibbs. There's no way I should forget Jamar Gibbs. I should wake up, wake up. What are we doing? How are we gonna forget Jamar Gibbs? That is crazy. Jay, what's going on? How do we forget Jamar Gibbs? But Jay, with this game, I mean, we're looking at a Pittsburgh Steelers team who probably I would say I wouldn't necessarily say they absolutely need to win. I mean, they're sitting at 4-1, but these are the games that you have to close out, and you got to show that you are an elite team. There's been a lot of criticism going into today with PFF, which is a stat company. Um, who gives out all these grades, blah blah. Anyways, they've been a little more lenient towards Miles Garrett. It seems like if you watch the games, TJ Watt is the one that's more effective. Um, but this is one of those games where you kind of stat those pats just a little bit. I mean, you're going at a wounded Cincinnati Bengals team, and reported this morning by uh, Ian Rappaport on NFL Network is it sounds like Trey Hendrickson is out with a back injury. It's not looking like he's gonna play. As of right now, according to Ian, it's leaning more towards him not playing. So I think with that being said, you have to take it for what it is and assume he's not gonna play. Since we're making our picks on a Thursday, I'm gonna go with the assumption that he's not gonna play. And regardless if he was or wasn't, I still think that Pittsburgh pulls this off. So I am gonna take the Pittsburgh Steelers to win tonight's game. I also do take them to cover, especially with Trey not playing. I just sounded like an idiot because I said I was assuming, like, this game was on Sunday after I just said that this game is tonight. Trey is not playing. Like, Trey's not playing. Uh, Pittsburgh has always been a good regular season team. Their issue is when it matters. JB, I do like that comment, but we could say that about just about every team. We really could. We could use that same one-liner on just about every team, honestly. So we have to take it week by week. We have to express our emotions weekly as we do the daily show. Because we can't look too far past. Because then, what's the point of judging this team currently if we're just waiting for the playoffs? I mean, you look at Buffalo, right? I hate to just bounce around here, kind of all over the place, and I am going to hate this whenever I have to start editing this. But I mean, you look at someone like Buffalo, right, or even Dallas, my own squad. We look at those teams and you go, yeah, they're good right now. I'm granted Dallas. Hey, I know, chill, but it's all we're in a result driven league, and there's a lot of teams where it's like, all right, we've seen what you've done in the playoffs. For prime example, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, those two scrutinized players. about their play in the postseason opposed to how they play in the regular season. MVP caliber players in the regular season, come playoffs, it seems to be that they slow down. And we could make all these excuses about the players they have around them, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. But that's not an excuse in the regular season. That's not an excuse in the regular season. We don't start to make we don't start to use that excuse until they drop a doozer, until they drop a dump in the playoffs. 120, 150, completion percentage at like 30%, somewhere around there. But without Trey Hendrickson, just to get back to the Steelers Bengals, without Trey Hendrickson, you got your foot on their throat. This is division rival. Take them out of their misery. Make them become sellers today. Today is when the Pittsburgh Steelers make them become sellers, in my opinion. You can't allow this team to hang around. And I know Joe Burrow is probably not going to come back. We might as well hang that up. I think at this point, it's fair to say he's not going to come back. But you know who I'm going to ask about that? I'm going to ask Mr. Earl Robinson as he comes onto the show. I appreciate Earl taking time out of his day. He is on vacation, enjoying himself with the fam. So let's see. Hey, Rob, how's it going, bro?
What's up? Doing well. How are you, Renee?
Not too bad. What are we in right now? We in a little restaurant? We getting some breakfast?
No, in a little cabin that we're staying in. Got all three kids running around. It's just me, so could be an appearance, kind
All
of
right.
super dad right now. I need some sort of plaque or award.
That'd be yeah, well, send it on over. I will ship it on over. Rob, I was talking about the Steelers Bengals tonight. Are there any concerns that you think the Steelers may drop the ball here?
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I mean, that Steelers defense, they've been pretty hit or miss all season long. I think they should win. I think the offense is cruising. Rodgers looks good. DK Metcalf looks good. Even the running game looks pretty good, which is weird to talk Steelers football and think the offense might carry the team. So I think there's a chance Cincinnati wins. But I think Steelers should win.
Yeah. You wouldn't put your money nowhere near Cincinnati, though. That's what I'm hearing, right?
Nah, no, I don't even know what the line is currently.
It's 5.5.
5.5. Yeah. If I were to bet, I'd probably put them in a teaser and take the points, get them up to like 12.
That might honestly, tonight's game might be the biggest snoozer of the entire season. I'm not gonna lie. No Trey Hendrickson. It's hard for me to think that Cincinnati has a chance whatsoever. I guess outside of Joe Flacco, maybe getting lucky throwing a couple deep passes, maybe a couple PIs that keep them in the game. But outside of that, I feel like it's a straight butt whooping. But hey, big Packer fan over there, you and the boys. You guys are sitting at 3-1-1, second in your division, going against the
First
Arizona Cardinals. Arizona,
first
go
in
ahead.
our division. Correction.
First, all right, my fault. NFL Network needs to, or NFL.com needs to update their information here.
That's right.
It does show it does show that they're the. Oh, my fault. Number 2 seed in the NFC.
There we go. There we go.
Hands up, hands up. So all those people who are questioning the Green Bay Packers because they tied with the Cowboys, they're still number 2 in the NFC. Pretty wild, pretty wild. We're prisoners of the moment. That's the beauty of having a daily show. You get to make yourself look slightly dumb every day, and then things change as more information starts to come out. But you guys are going against the 2-4 Arizona Cardinals, going to Glendale, Arizona, at the State Farm Stadium. How are we feeling going into this game? I know the last game I had told you there's no way you guys should be worried. Michael Parsons came out, interviewed, and he said these are the games where we go and establish who we are. We create some momentum going down the line here. It was a little bit of a rough game last week. I mean, how do you go? How do you feel going forward with this team?
I feel good. I mean, ultimately started the season off hot, right? Two big wins
Yeah.
against Lions and the Commanders, and then kind of fell on our faces at Cleveland, at Dallas. But ultimately, 3-1-1. If you would have told me we could start the season, 3-1-1 and beating the Lions, I would have taken that in a heartbeat. I never would have thought our loss would come to the Browns, but it is what it is. I think that our offense is getting better. Matthew Golden last week, even the week before or 2 weeks before against Cleveland, he's starting to
Finally.
make some plays. Our offensive line is finally healthy for the Cincinnati game, and you could tell a big difference with Love's comfort in the pocket, his overall protection, and really the running game too was a lot better against Cincinnati. So we should go into Arizona. We should win that game. I don't think it'll be a blowout. But I think what I want to see is I want to see our defense get better. It seems like they're playing one half really great and then checking out for next week. So we got to see the defense play a full game and put that together.
What's your biggest concern? Is it? I know we were talking a little bit during the game, and you kind of threw a little shot at your secondary there. Are what's the level of concern with the secondary? Would you like to see the Packers make another aggressive move, or is this kind of the personnel that we're going to see going forward?
I feel like this is probably the personnel that we'll see going forward. I mean, ultimately against Cincinnati, like they do have good weapons, right? I mean Dallas too, with Pickens and Ferguson and some of the other guys. So like you're going to give up some points in those games, but I do think our secondary is probably our weak spot. If our pass rush doesn't get home, our secondary is just going to look worse and worse.
Yeah, for sure. You know what's odd, what's crazy is JB's been highly critical of Jordan Love. And now that I'm looking at these numbers, I mean, you guys ranked 8th in the NFL points per game, averaging 26.2 points per game. Sure, maybe most of those points got the average up because of that Cowboys game. But I mean, Josh Jacobs finally starting to get it rolling. I mean, that's got to make you feel good, right? Getting Jordan Love on the play action, allow him to get outside the pocket, create plays outside of that. I mean, confidence level wise for Jordan Love, where are we?
It's high. I think Love has played great this year outside of like three turnover mistakes that he's made with, fumble against you guys, interception against the Browns, and then I'll throw in the interception against Cincinnati on our first drive that was kind of a deflection. Not necessarily his fault, but shouldn't have made the throw in the first place. Outside turnovers, I mean, Love has played really well. He looks comfortable, starting to get on the same page with Golden, like I mentioned. And then, hey, we're gonna get Christian Watson back in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and we're gonna have a very deep receiver room. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and finally instilling Matthew Golden into the lineup. That is going to be juicy. Him and Christian Watson. If Christian Watson can stay healthy, of course we can't get ourselves too high because history shows us the injury bug loves him. The injury bug absolutely loves Christian Watson. But if he comes back healthy, gosh, the potential on that uh, Packers offense scary, scary,
Yeah.
scary, scary, scary. Do the Packers just have uh, the resemblance defense of the Dallas Cowboys when they had Micah Parsons? Maybe potentially we'll see going down the line. But Rob, I appreciate your insight on that game. But let me ask before I let you go real quick. Another massive game this weekend is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield heading over to the Detroit Lions, who are coming off a controversial loss. Some are saying, hey, the refs had a little too much to do with that Chiefs game. A lot of finger pointing going on right now. A lot of folks in the internet world, they're putting on their tinfoil hats and starting to accuse the NFL of rigging games for the Kansas City Chiefs. So Detroit is a little bit pissed, right? Coming in 4-2. They're right now they're the sixth seed, right? Obviously, that's because they're in the division with you guys. So
Yep.
that's gonna drop from 2-6 or 2-7 easily right away. But how are we feeling about Baker Mayfield and going against this Detroit Lions team? And also, if you can just kind of tell me how you feel about these close games that the Buccaneers are have been in this entire season. I was telling JB that it's a little concerning for me because of the wear and tear. So we might see them kind of come down from those highs. They're going into the playoffs. Like, are you worried about that whatsoever?
No, it's week 6. Like overreaction after week 2, right? That the Packers are going to go undefeated and win the Super Bowl. Like it's early. I like I like close games. I think I'd rather have my team I mean, it depends who you're playing, right? Like, you should go beat a team like the Bengals or the Browns or whoever by more than a end of the game drive for a game winning field goal. But when you're playing good
Yeah.
competition and you're coming back and fighting 4 quarters and getting that experience like in the clutch, I like to see that from a team, and I think that'll go a long way in the playoffs because once you hit the playoffs, you're not going to get you're not going to get those blowouts. You're going to be playing good teams. It's going to be competitive, and I think that's an advantage.
Yeah, so we're all right. So chill out, Renee. There's no need to worry, Baker. This is all preparation for what's to come for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, I mean, how confident are we feeling? It's looking like Tampa Bay will not have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, or Mr. Mbuka himself, or Bucky Irving. Four
Yeah.
of their elite offensive players are gone. Somehow they were gone last week too. If we remember, Mbuka went out, I think, in the second quarter, and Baker Mayfield was able to lead that team to victory. Whenever you got a leader like him, uh, that next man up mentality. It's easy to say it, right? Whenever someone gets hurt, I know I put out a little tweet about Justin Herbert and how we always make these excuses about injuries, blah blah. Everybody has injuries, so the injury excuse, it's probably the one of the most annoying because you can use it just for just about anybody.
Yep.
And then so I asked the question: is Justin Herbert a guy that's going to go out and win you games, or is he just a game manager? And he went out, won that game last week, so kudos to him. Can he do it again? Well, to be determined. But with Baker Mayfield, I mean, we've seen him elevate his team over and over and over again. That's why you just said, right? These close games, you'd rather have them so that way you're prepared for when the games are tight. There coming the playoffs when your possessions almost cut in half. Baker Mayfield's leadership, like we can't take that for granted. This guy is elevating. I mean, one of the most wounded teams on the offensive side of the ball,
Hmm.
and he's able to bring out the best in these fifth, sixth string guys. I mean, bro, what was his name? Tay,
Tez,
rookie from Oregon,
yeah,
Tez, my bad. Like him, I don't know if you've seen any of the sideline clips from that team. Like, bro, the bromance that's going on the sideline from the Buccaneers, you gotta love it. If you're a Buccaneers fan, how juiced are you?
yeah. I mean, they look good. That team's fun to watch. They're scoring a lot of points. Um, I want to say it'll be a shootout with Detroit, and I hope Tampa wins for obvious reasons, but they sure are beat up on offense. It's hard to think, especially I think you said it's at Detroit. It's hard to
In
think
Detroit,
they're
yep.
going to go in there and beat the Lions coming off of a loss with all those injuries. But I sure hope it's a back and forth, high scoring game because I got some fantasy players playing in that game
On both sides.
on both sides.
Oh man. So I'm looking here now. It looks like Buccaneers defense right now against the pass against or their passing efficiency is ranked number 17 in the league. So Jared Goff, this may possibly be a shootout. We're looking at the number 17th ranked passing defense versus the number 14th ranked passing defense. So a shootout, possibly a shootout we would both love. Both teams up high on the points per game. Lions sitting at 31 points, second in the league, and the Buccaneers 27, sixth in the league. Love offense. I love me some high scoring
Well,
games, but we
you
do
have to.
love ourselves
Your
some.
team doesn't have any defense.
Yo, chill. On that note, ladies and gentlemen,
No,
hey, how? All right,
I
so
do, I do got to drop. I do got to drop
before
to go. Okay.
before you go, thinking about going to the game. I'm right now 90-10. The only thing holding me back from going is like, yeah, I don't want to go out there and then they hang 50 on us, and I'm just pissed off driving 8 hours back home. Like, talk me into going to the game.
Well, I already told you my thoughts. You should go to the Denver Dallas game because you've been to Jerry World how many times? Probably most of your experiences there have been losses. At least all the ones where we have gone together and the Packers have played. And so why not try a new stadium, new vibes, and Denver's going to be more fun to watch than the Commanders.
All right, E-Rob. Ladies and gentlemen, Earl Robinson. Oh, what a troll. What a troll. What a troll. You know what, boys? Yeah, E-Rob, appreciate you, bro. Yes. 9307, let me know. Do you think I should go to the Cowboys game this weekend, or should I take Earl's advice and waste my money on a different game and experience the Denver Broncos at Mile High? But what? Hold on, hold on. Let me remove you from here, Ero. I'm sorry. No, yeah, maybe. Denver. Jay's just saying. He's got a good point, but Denver's probably also winning that game. That's what Jay just said. I don't know. Denver's offense also doesn't look very good. They seem to not show up for about 3 quarters, and then when it starts to tighten up, Bo Nix and Sean Payton seem to get in the groove and get some momentum and go out and win games. But boys, 575-808-9307. Let me know what you want to talk about. Hit the line. What do we got? Fantasy football? You don't know if you need to make a trade, or you need to make a trade because your team is stinking right now. Call me. You're kind of hanging on the needle here on who you should bet on. A couple player props. First touchdown score? Call me. Jay, your team stinks and you just need to let it out. You just need to breathe. You just need to speak out loud. Call me. 575-808-9307. Jay, let's move on to this Rams Jacksonville game. Jacksonville, we don't know what Jacksonville quite is. Do we know what anybody in the league is, Jay? Do we know what anybody in the league is right now? It's so balanced. I love football right now. I absolutely love it. I mean, like, just like tonight's game, it's like, who? Like, how are we even giving Cincinnati a chance? The only reason we're even tuning into this game is the fact that you look at the small stats and numbers, like Mike Tomlin being 0-8, Joe Flacco's record against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a rivalry game. They're on the road. Like this, in my head, this is a blowout. This is a snoozer. We're probably going to check out of that game by like halftime, honestly. But somehow, some way, because football is so balanced right now, we're like Cincinnati has a chance. Cincinnati has a chance. But with that being said, Jacksonville, Travis Hunter got criticized like crazy on the internet. Bro, the internet is so nuts. The internet is so frustrating. One thing about doing the daily show is I got to be on the internet almost all day. It gets on at this point. Wife's getting a little annoyed, but I appreciate her grinding with me because that's part of it. It's just funneling information all day, boom, boom, listening to interviews all day, all day. Travis Hunter getting interviewed going to a baptism on a Sunday. You know what they asked him? Why would you get baptized on a Sunday? Like, bro, read the room. That's the Lord's Day, baby. What, he's supposed to set up a special day for himself to be baptized? Nah, bro. He's part of the church. The church has it on Sunday. The criticism on him for that was crazy. And you know who it was? Skip Bayless. Come on. Skip Bayless was the leader of this dumb story. It's one of those situations where you just throw stuff at the wall and just hope it catches. We're in such a clip bait, rage bait world where like that's the kind of stuff you're looking for. And here I am raging over it. Because it's dumb. It's not even football anymore. Keep it football. Keep it football. Leave all that other stuff out of it. But it's going to be a part of the game, so we got to deal with it. But Jacksonville Jaguars playing against the Rams. Man, Jay, what I love about this game is that Lawrence and Brian Thomas are finally starting to get a groove there. And once they can figure out how they're going to use Travis Hunter, it seems like they're still kind of up in the air, 50-50. They're still splitting the field with him. Um, I personally enjoy him on offense, but he's probably going to be more effective on defense. The Jaguars just went out and got Newsom from Cleveland, so they're wanting to improve. We're seeing Jacksonville make the moves. I think they finally see they got the clear eye view that this team can actually make a run this year. They got a good coach, Liam Cohen. We saw what he was able to do at Baker, elevate Baker, bring back the confidence in Baker, and that's all we got to see out of Trevor Lawrence right now because he's got the team. He's got the team around him. He's got the team around him. He's got a good defense. He's got a good pass rush. Their defense is going to keep them in games. It's just a matter of Trevor Lawrence's QB play. The only problem with it is the only problem with Trevor Lawrence is that we need him to play well. On a couple of teams, we'd be like, we just need you to be a game manager. We just need you to be a game manager. No, this Jags team moves as he goes. We need him to play well. We need Trevor Lawrence to be a Baker Mayfield. And we've seen Trevor Lawrence get outside the pocket, create scrambles, create chaos, and succeed in it. But we've also seen him just absolutely stink. Looking at the stat here, Trevor Lawrence is 1-7 in his career in games versus fellow number one overall picks. What an odd stat. So every time he's went against the number one pick, which has been 8 times, Trevor Lawrence is 1-7. That is tied for the third worst record by a number one pick versus other number one picks in the common draft era. Lawrence only win came in week 1 this season against Bryce Young, against a Carolina Panthers team. They're starting to gain some momentum. Or are they? Did they just play a stinky team? Maybe. But Trevor Lawrence, man, I love the Rams. I love me some Matthew Stafford, but Puka Nacua being questionable coming into this game on Sunday, I I I think I'm leaning towards. I think I'm taking Jacksonville at home here, coming off a tight loss. This game, or it's not. It's I guess it's not at home, right? It's overseas. It's over the pond. This is the last overseas game. Um, but they've Jacksonville's been over there so much that it's basically a home game. We can basically call this a home game. I think they're probably the most comfortable in that environment, especially over the Rams here. And then the Rams, coming, they're still trying to get healthy. Young team though, going to experience something new. Will that be an issue for this team? I don't know. Maybe. But everything leans towards Jacksonville right now. They're healthier. It seems like they're starting to get a groove, even though they lost the tight one last week. Yeah, I mean, I guess if Puka Nacua plays, questionable. So if he plays, but it is Thursday. It is Thursday. So we're not going to know if he's game time decision. I'm not going to be able to make a decision here. But even if he plays, I think I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars in a tight game here. We like both teams, man. Love both teams. But what is going on with Devontae Adams and Matthew Stafford? I don't know if it's just me that I was expecting just so much more from them right now. But yeah, maybe I'm just being highly critical there, Jay, huh? With Devontae Adams. Let's see, Devontae Adams has averaged 12.7 area yards per target this season. That's pretty good. His highest mark since 2016. So maybe I need to watch my mouth. Adams has caught 4 of 8 deep targets. Has 20 yards for 119 yards. What am I talking about, Jay? What am I talking about right now? I like you like the Jags. You like the Jags here. I like you 6-5. That's a tough record. Tough record. Almost 500 for the Jacksonville Jaguars overseas. Devontae Adams, and I guess I was just expecting more, as in, I thought that Devontae Adams was going to come in and be the X factor. Because sure, we're going to say, oh, he's old, blah blah blah. He's not though. I mean, we've seen, like, dude was just elite in Oakland with Agent, what's his name, Agent McConnell, or the janitor, buddy with the mustache, looking like he shouldn't be in the league, but somehow in a still on the Raiders roster. I don't know, JB. I'm taking Jacksonville Jaguars though. Hey, JB, Jay. Let's talk about some news here. So Miami Dolphins. Before we talk about the Miami Dolphins, so Miami's going. They're going over against Cleveland. They're going over to Cleveland to play the Browns. Sorry. And there's been a lot of stuff going on with this Dolphins team. Locker room issues. Tua comes out, interview on Monday, and kind of puts a lot of blame. When I heard it, I felt like he was criticizing the the um the organization, the leadership from the top down. I didn't really feel like it was a shot at the coaching. I mean, at the players, but it seems like some players took it differently. It looks like someone like Shannon Sharp highly criticized him. Like, if he was taking a shot at the players, maybe I'm crazy here, and maybe I just misheard and I got clickbaited. But this was his response to all the things that he kind of stirred up. Mike McDaniels came out yesterday, had a response, said, "Hey, as a leader, we can't come out and make those statements, so on and so forth, blah blah blah." Tua came out, and this was his response. Let's see what he had to say.
Yeah, I would say first and foremost, you get to see who a person really is as you're going through the hardships, right? You get to see, okay, does this person start pointing fingers? Does this person, you know, take it upon themselves every time? How does everyone go about that? I think you kind of get a good gauge about the team that you have as well with that. But I would say there hasn't been any bickering or pointing of fingers lately. There's just guys that putting their head down, trying to work and do the best that they can to put us in the best position to win games. Yeah,
Yeah, Jay, after hearing that, like, I know it's just a 30-second clip, and if you go and watch the entire interview, he does take some accountability, but at the same time, it still seems like he was not taking accountability at the same time, Right there, he says, we really find out who a person is, I'm paraphrasing, but when they're down in the dirt. And that's what this Miami team defense, or this Miami team, is right now, sitting at 1-5. It sounds like Tua hates it there. Honestly, Tua hates it there. And at this point, you just need to come up to that podium and you just got to give the answers that your PR team is telling you to give. Stop going off script. Stop trying to spice things up. Whatever you feel, you keep it to yourself at this point, Tua. Whatever you feel, you keep it to yourself, because Mike McDaniels isn't going to be the only one that goes when this team falls apart. If it wasn't for the cap hit that this team would take from Tua, he would probably already be gone. He would probably already be gone. But this team is on a lifeline. And you know what clears all these issues up immediately, Jay? The one thing that will clear all these issues is go out and win. Go out and win. And you're going against a Cleveland Browns team who has issues of their own. Now you got Deshaun Watson videos coming out, and he might potentially get some playing time before Shador. So now it gets even louder in Cleveland. Because now it's like, now we're not even focusing on our starting quarterback. Or have we ever? Or maybe it's just my algorithm that's feeding me this nonsense. But Dylan Gabriel seems like a game away from getting benched. But Stefanski seems to hate Shador. Or maybe he's trying to protect him. I was highly critical of Andrew Berry making that trade of Joe Flacco, sending him to a division rival. I asked one of my Cleveland buddies how we should feel about, or what was his response to my take on it. Kind of calling him an idiot, not my friend, but calling Andrew Berry an idiot. And he goes, Joe Flacco, we already knew what we got out of him. And now we get something back in return for him, opposed to just him sitting there wasting time. I mean, some people might look as hey, you got a veteran in the locker room to help these young guys get ready. Sure. But that's what Kevin Stefanski's for. So maybe he is right. Maybe Andrew Berry is a genius and made this trade to get something back in return. What'd they get, a fifth or a sixth? Not a bad deal, because you weren't going to get anything for him, right? And then they take over the majority of his contract. It's my bad, Andrew Berry. I apologize, because it's two teams that are tanking at this point. But what I found interesting in this game, this is two 1-5 teams. I don't even know why I'm wasting this much time talking about them. But the reason I am is because these are two teams that are probably going to come up and sell. And we're looking at someone like, Bradley Chubb, Myles Garrett. I know Myles Garrett just signed a fat contract, but why not pass that contract to somebody else and allow yourself to rebuild and pull yourself out of the hole that you have put yourself in? You are spending way too much money on the quarterback position to still not have an answer. And we're so afraid to put the obvious out there. But Dan Orlovsky has warned us. Dylan Gabriel's the way to go. He's told us Shador's not ready. Is Dano correct? And will we see him this weekend? I'll tell you what, during the second half last week, if I'm a Browns fan, I know you're trying to be patient. I know you're trying to be hopeful. I know you're trying to give Dylan Gabriel a chance. But at what point do you have to see what you got on the other side of that? We've done this for too long with Cleveland. Quarterback after 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 quarterback. I mean, I would have to keep going because of how many quarterbacks they've gone through. Quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after Jay, I've said after quarterback about 17 times. I still have to keep going because this team has yet to have figured it out. After quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. Jay, I'm at 20 and I still have to keep going because this team cannot seem to figure it out. And now you got coach of the year, former coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski on the hot seat. How does that happen so fast? Or was Kevin Stefanski a fluke for getting coach of the year? Maybe Coach Stefanski was given coach of the year because he was able to take what nobody thought could get, a team that nobody thought could get to the playoffs, and he got them there. But you forget who led them, who truly led that team. And now we're seeing it out there in Tampa Bay. Man, what a sad story for Cleveland. What a sad story. And it's some of the most loyal fans. One of my favorite football experiences was going to Logan Rader's watch party with him and all his Cleveland Brown friends who he recruited. What's crazy is Logan was open arms. And shout out to his buddies for just coming in and embracing the dog pound. Because if I remember correctly, a couple of those guys weren't Browns fans, and his love for the Cleveland Browns brought him in, and they embraced it, and they enjoy the dog pound. But there's too many lows. There's not enough highs. So he almost brought them to his weekly therapy session, and now it's just a group therapy session. Which what a beauty! Shout out to the bromance. Shout out to the bromance. With that being said, though, I'm gonna take Miami. You got to take Miami. I think you got to take the worst of the worst, and I think it's Cleveland. I mean, we saw the tape on the Browns. Jalen Gabriel's just missing too many easy passes. And I was just talking a little bit of dirt on Kevin Stefanski, which not deserved at all. But you look at that tape, and man, it's tough. It's almost like I'm assuming that Browns fans kind of feel like how I feel as a Cowboys fan, where it's like, is it the scheme or is it the personnel? Because you go look at that tape, bro, and there's a lot of Cleveland Browns open. There's a lot of missed passes, and you go to wonder immediately, could Shador completed that pass? Could have Shador completed that pass? I'm gonna take Miami, man. Miami's holding on to dear life, and a lot of things. The one thing that can make that easily go away, or at least put a patch on the scar, put a little Band-Aid for at least another week. You just got to get past November. I think what's trade deadline November 7th, somewhere around there. Like, you just got to get past the second week of November and you'll have a job. You will have a job. And I think that's what the Dolphins are doing right now. But if they lose, sellers immediately. Next week, overreaction Monday will not be an overreaction because the Miami Dolphins will have unhauled all the talent that they have on that team. I mean, there's already question marks on if Waddle is going to be shipped up out of there. That's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting. I'm sorry, boys. I wasted a lot of y'all's time there talking about 2 1-5 teams when we have all these other great games. I mean, let's Minnesota versus Philadelphia. You got Philly sitting at 4-2 right now. You know, Philly seems to be having, not seems to be, like, it's obvious. We see it. They're having issues. And we're being told that AJ Brown isn't happy. But AJ Brown seems to think different about what he feels. And he came out in an interview yesterday and he said, "We're fine. There's nothing to worry about." Here, let me show you guys this. Let me show you guys exactly what he said.
Right the ship.
You tell me.
The vibe of the team as you guys try to right the ship.
You tell me. You listen. What you think? Sound normal, huh?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, normal. Exactly. So, we're not letting a loss just humble us, and you can't let it humble. You got to keep going. And continue to find ways. This team is fine. This team is motivated and trying to get on the same page.
I don't know, Jay. That sounded like blah. I'm just gonna say what I got to say to get out of this interview. That was actually the first time I heard it. And yeah, it's gloomy out in Philadelphia. And you know what would make it worse? You know what would really just put that Philadelphia team over the edge? I mean, boys, we're tripping. They're 4-2, but they fought a 4-3. I'm still not panicking if I'm Philadelphia because you have the assets to make a move. I'm telling you, like I said yesterday, this team has the potential to have the best BBL of all time. If they want to move on for AJ Brown, guess what they're going to get? They're also going to get an elite player in return. So if I'm feeling, I'm not tripping at all. And as you watch the interview slowly come out, the only thing that concerns me is Jalen Hurts' play. Although he's shown up in the biggest moments, playoffs, Super Bowl, the one thing that you have to give him credit for is he's a winner. And it kills me to say that. It hurts. I don't want to say that. But he is what he is. And he is what he's shown us to be. And that's that he wins. At the end of the day, when things get tight, he seems to elevate himself. He might have the worst game. But you come down in that fourth quarter with the game on the line, and most of the time he comes out on top. And we just feel I think what we feel right now for Philly is it's like we're so accustomed to seeing them kind of win these tight games, and now we're seeing them just completely lose themselves in the second half. I mean, we've seen this team dominate in the first half, where it's like, oh wow, and then they kind of check out. I mean, they've had games where they don't complete a pass in the second half. Like that's unacceptable. And I think that's where the criticism comes on this Philadelphia team, but it's because the standard is so high. So you almost have to respect it as an organization that they've set the standard so high that we're sitting here at 4-2 talking about team needs to trade players. The locker room is dysfunctional. And I think we have to give the Philadelphia Eagles the benefit of the doubt that they're going to figure it out. I mean, this is the former NFL champs we're talking about. We got to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we're not going to start this weekend. We aren't going to start this weekend. Why? Because the Carson Wentz experience. And if Philadelphia loses to Carson Wentz, boy, is it going to get loud. We talk about how high the standard is. You lose to a former player who you let go, and he comes out. I mean, this is the perfect storyline being set up for us right now. Carson Wentz he's not going to Philadelphia. Philadelphia's coming to him. And if he's able to pull off this win against his former team, bro, it's going to get so loud because it's from Carson Wentz. Like if the L is coming from him, I think if it comes from like anybody else, I think the fact that it's Carson Wentz is going to make it that much more. It's going to just turn up the volume just a little bit more. And I am so here for it. The Vikings are 1.5 underdogs on this game, with the over-under sitting at 43.5 points. You know, a part of me wants to say this is going to be a high-scoring game. You think. Like that's what I want to think. But then you look at their defensive efficiency, and the Vikings, according to NFL.com, their passing efficiency sits at numero uno. And you look over across who's lined up for them, and you see the Eagles ranked number 8 right now. So I'm assuming this is going to be a very high running game. I expect if there was ever a bet that you wanted to take, I would say Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown. And sure, you're probably thinking, duh, Renee, that might be the easiest bet slip you can give out. Vikings rushing efficiency sitting at number 24. Give me that. Give me that touchdown. You know what's another one that I like? Carson Wentz anytime touchdown. Because this Minnesota team is going to need to be creative, and Carson Wentz is going to have to make plays outside the pocket, and he's going to have to use his feet. And I mean, this is a human wrecking ball. He'll take any hit he can get, and I think he will. I think that's going to be my 2 bets for this weekend. It's Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown, Carson Wentz anytime touchdown. You guys can thank me on Monday. You guys can thank me on Monday. Jay, you know who came out with the crazy clip? I will tell you who. Mr. Rashee Rice coming out with maybe the clip of the year at this point. Let's see. So Rashee Rice comes out with a promo video about, him coming back. He was suspended for 6 weeks for off the field issues. Some would say very, very bad. They are very bad. I mean, it was Buddy was driving reckless, could have probably killed some people. Not a good thing. Probably something that doesn't require a hype video of you coming back. It's not like you were coming back from injury, but he was actually. This is some of the reaction from the internet. This is good old Mr. Craig Carton on his Craig Carton show. He was very animated about how he felt about this video. Let's have a listen.
Someone just reminds She Rice that we don't want the inspirational video showing his workouts as he prepares to get back on the NFL field. You're not coming back from a torn ACL.
No.
You're not coming back from a hammy. You're coming back from nearly killing people by driving your car 150 miles per hour and saying, yes, Your Honor, I'm guilty, to multiple felonies, including leaving the scene of the accident.
Right.
So we don't want to see the violins playing and the videos of your hard work. I respect it. I know coming back and not playing for the first month and a half, 2 months. Yeah, you got to get in the gym. You got to do the work. No one's saying you're lazy, but ain't nobody like, oh, I feel so. Look at Rasheed Rice putting in that work.
Root for that kid.
Yeah, you're not coming back from an injury. I want to be clear about that. You're coming back from almost killing people.
Right.
That's what you're coming back from. So he.
Very, very animated. And he's got a good point. He's got a good point. But then you look and you go, if you're a fantasy owner, boys, honestly, if you just watch football and don't follow anything outside of, or the storylines outside of that, which I almost forgot that that's why he was suspended. So when I saw that clip, I was like, bro, that is crazy. It's not like it was, it's not an injury. It's not like he's coming back from an injury. Legitimate legal issues. Can't feel bad for the guy at all. But then I dug into it, right? Because I'm like, all right, the one person that would be excited about him coming back would be someone who drafted him on their fantasy squad. That would be someone that would be excited about Rashee Rice coming back, regardless of what his off issues were, because you remove that element from your head when you're thinking about fantasy football. I mean, when you're thinking about your fantasy football roster, you're not thinking about necessarily what this guy is doing outside of football, which you probably should, because it will have an impact on your team if he's missing games. But let's remember, though, he was kind of wrong there. Carson was wrong because Rashee Rice did go out with an injury last year, week 4. From what I saw, it was ACL injury. So he is kind of coming back from an injury. And he's coming back to a Chiefs offense right now that's averaging 25.8 points a game. And the Chiefs, whenever Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice are both on the field, are 4-0 in those games. 4-0. And going against, a Raiders team that's coming off a big win. Big, depending on who you speak to. Big if you're a Raiders fan. I think if you're a Raiders fan, you're just excited that you got a W. For sure. Got a W. But Geno Smith, right now, check down king. Primarily throwing passes this season. 48.9% have been less than 10 yards. And that probably leaves us to wonder, how can this team spread the ball down the field to give themselves a chance? Maybe Geno Smith is just being a little conservative. Maybe he's being a little too conservative. Maybe he's trying. Maybe what we need from him is to have a live or die mentality out there on that football field. At this point, if you're Geno Smith, we know what you've done. We know what you're capable of on your highs, and we know what you're capable of your lows. And that's just kind of what comes with Geno Smith football. So don't give me this mediocre version of Geno Smith where we're afraid to throw the ball down the field because we're afraid to create turnovers. On the other side of those turnovers are big plays, stretching the field. Ashton Genty can't be getting touched behind the line of scrimmage every play as he is right now. And that's happening because we have no effect down the field. We have no threat. Brock Bowers isn't playing this weekend. Don't like that. I hate to say it to my boy Santiago. I know. Let's get a little Delulu and let's think. Let's feel confident about going into this game because anything's possible. We still got to go out there. These boys still got to go out there and play. But without their best player, I mean, you can make the argument between him and Genti. But your team is averaging 17 points per game right now, and it's just not enough, especially against a Chiefs defense who seems to have found a groove, and the offense is finally catching up. It feels like the Kansas City Chiefs are back, and I think they're going to show it this weekend. But boys, I shall let y'all go off to work as I am too. I hope my boy JB went and got his cell. Trust Mark Ruffin. Who can you trust? That would be John Anthony Barba. Give him a holler. But fellas, I appreciate you guys joining me this morning. It was a grind. Thank you, Earl, for joining the show, educating us just a little bit more on what to expect from the Green Bay Packers. And boys, I think I am going to go to the game this weekend. I think so. I think I should. The stakes of that game are too high for me not to be there. This is a game-changing game for the Dallas Cowboys. Because if we don't win this weekend, it almost feels like a must. I mean, it doesn't almost feel. It is a must win. Because it don't get easier for the Cowboys going forward. Like I was talking about how we're about to go on this run, right? But boys, Commanders, Broncos, back to back. We have to get these two next games are the most crucial. And I think the biggest one is this weekend against your division rival who's wanting to shut the door on you. I know it's only week 7. And you can hear the nervousness in my voice because I am nervous for this game. I want to see the Jaden Daniels that we saw on Monday night. But the likelihood of that happening is small. I've been waiting for a move from Jerry Jones for the last 3 days. And we have nothing but interviews of him saying the line is open. Rico Dowdle goes on Shannon Sharp show last night, Nightcap, and he says that Jerry, an offer was never made to him. They told him, go test the market and let me know what you're worth out there. And you come back to me. Like, what kind of business are we running here? And I'm not trying to criticize a billion-dollar man when I haven't even created my own business, but logically speaking, it doesn't make sense. How are you supposed to get deals done when you're waiting on them to come back to you, when you should be the one reaching out? How come we haven't made a call to the Oakland Raiders? Why didn't we call the Cincinnati Bengals? Why haven't we picked up the phone and rang the Miami Dolphins? Why do I talk myself into situations that I'm doing now to go watch a game for an owner that can't even pick up the phone and make a call just to see if there's anything out there? How do I continue to give my money to an owner whose ego is so big that he thinks you should call me? You should call me. I'm of higher value. And guess what? My dumbass is going to end up going to this game. And I'm going to be the loudest one out there. And I'm going to have a time of my life. And with that being said, boys, I appreciate you guys grinding with me. We'll see you guys back on Monday for Overreaction Monday. JB will be back joining the show at 6:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Guys, we do have a phone line where you can let it out. You can let it rip. The highs and the lows. Let us know how you feel. Monday, Overreaction. See you then.